What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to go over what's happening behind the scenes that a lot of investors definitely should not ignore, which ultimately led me to add to my position. I'm going to go over all of that. Before I do, making sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. With that though, let's get right to it. Live ticker is going at the very bottom of the screen. The market has tentatively just closed as of right now. So you can see the after hours activity, but it did close 0.5% down, 56.4 million for volume, 45.6 is the average, and that is a 6-month average. So definitely a lot of volume getting in, and 8.8 million shares being purchased by institutions on the secondary market, which again is a nice change of events that's happening. Looking on the intraday chart as well, a massive epic day going on for SoFi. So in reality, let me know in the comments below if you took advantage of these discounted prices, because still at the end of the day, I personally feel that we should be easily at $10, and maybe even with the student debt being juggled around. Obviously the deadline is August the 31st, whether it be an extension or a definite solution to that, we could be seeing $10 this month. My own 2 cents. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But I did add to my position today because of the huge bullish signals I've been really talking about over the last little bit on my videos. So first off, in the comments below, if you, like myself, did add to your position today, give yourself a shout out. You definitely deserve that. So I want to go over some things that definitely is a very big telltale sign that a lot of big money is adding behind the scenes. One of which is 13Fs. I've been going over this, like I said, over the last several videos. Hopefully this isn't boring anyone, but I think a lot of people really need to take a step back and realize what a big deal this actually is. So this is all the big players in SoFi. For the most part, they've all done their submissions of 13Fs. So basically this is it. In reality, some have closed out the position, some added. In general, the majority of them did add to the position. SoftBank, oddly enough, you can see in Q2, they did not change. They maintained their position. Even though their actual underlying asset went down 44.23%, they still maintained their position. Obviously, the news coming out about SoftBank right now, but still, it's good to see them holding their position in Q2. It's similar to Vanguard increasing 21.82%, BlackRock 78.97%. So clearly a lot of big money is always buying behind the scenes. And like I mentioned at the very beginning about the block volume being purchased on the secondary market, this is all the transactions that happened on the dark pool today. I'm just going to refresh this, just give it a most up-to-date information. There is and has been a huge amount of influx of money getting into SoFi. So I'm a very big fan of following the money. So what I mean by that is look at all the transactions that happened today. Almost 250 transactions occurred on the dark pool, which is a very, very big deal. Obviously, I don't think you want me to go through each and every individual transaction that occurred, but clearly a lot of big money still is buying SoFi. I'm just going to quickly pop over here and show you what I mean. So you can see this is the intraday chart, every single tick, every single transaction, and this doesn't include anything from the dark pool. This is only on the secondary market. And looking here, you can see a couple instances where 500,000 or more shares were purchased, which is a very big deal. As soon as I saw this information, I bought. So I did buy in at $7.30. I got my average down to $7.61, which in reality I'm extremely happy with. Previously was $8.15, and despite it going to the $5 range, I still held very true because I know there's going to be a lot of big things coming SoFi's way. And ever since ultimately it hit the sixes, this is when big money started to really back up the bus for SoFi. So again, there's a lot of things that you cannot ignore, and if you are one of the individuals that loves to follow what big money is doing, definitely pay attention to everything I just mentioned. Because unfortunately, sometimes retail investors are a little bit too slow to the game. They like to wait for articles to come out saying, you know what, Morgan Stanley is increasing their position, blah, blah, blah. BlackRock is increasing their position, things like that. But keep in mind, when those articles come out, they've already well purchased their shares a long time ago. And I believe in SoFi so much. For those of you that tune into my channel quite often, you know that I did make a actual portfolio just of SoFi, just to be be a good advocate of dollar cost averaging. Just want to give you a quick summary on this. So if you can see this, I'll make this a little bit bigger. So I made roughly about 4 different positions, one of which is a full-on portfolio for conservative, aggressive, a lucid one, because I do cover quite a lot of lucid, and SoFi. So in general, I do weekly contributions to both SoFi and lucid in $25. I know it's not too much, and conservative and aggressive, I do $100 every single week. So every single week I contribute to all these portfolios. So when I did purchase today, it was outside of this. It was done on my actual personal portfolio, not my YouTube one. So in general, I'm very happy with SoFi, and I will continue to buy both on a personal level and part of the YouTube portfolio. Let me know if you have any comments or questions about any of this. I can definitely go into a little bit more detail on that. But when it comes down to it though, the technicals, I know I'm a very big technicals fan as well. So when it comes to it though, we are looking very good. We actually bounced off of that central Bollinger Band, and as of right now, you can see this wide gap. We've been fairly flat for the last little bit. But in general though, I think all the data that's been really coming out, and more so tomorrow is retail sales. We'll have a good indication of how strong the actual economy is. If it is positive, then anticipate this to go sky high. My own 2 cents, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. This is only for entertainment purposes. But on the actual chart, you can see stochastic. We are currently at 62, but no defined trend. And RSI is currently at 58. And on the actual chart, it's been fairly flat the last little bit, but we are really etching up and we're really consolidating. And you can tell based on the intraday chart, when we have these consolidation periods, we are very fast to act up, meaning that we are really waiting for one good piece of news for us to go up. Again, that student debt moratorium is coming up very soon, which could cause us to go to the $10 range very fast. Again, this is something that if you are investing in SoFi, even if you don't care about the short-term noise like myself, then technically you should be aiming for 2024, 2025. This is where you will be making serious money, because even hypothetically, if it goes to $10, I will not be selling. In reality, this should be at $40 by 2023 by the end of that. That's my own price prediction that I've been really giving SoFi, because keep in mind, in a higher interest rate environment, SoFi is going to flourish. And even based on their recent earnings, it goes to show in a lower interest rate environment per se, if you want to call it that, definitely can still make a ton of money, and it's showing a lot of good growth. So when it comes down to it though, there's a lot of good reasons why you need to buy, similar to what a lot of institutions are doing. And as well, while I'm back on here, looking at a lot of their averages as well. That's again another thing that I really like to look for. Even BlackRock itself, $12.11 is their average on 30 million shares. So the fact is that we're at $6 or $7, whatever we are currently at, then in general, there was a lot of value sought by these institutions at these levels. So in the mid-teens, ultimately, like 14, 18, and so forth. Again, it's one of those things, do your own due diligence at the end of the day, but I think that ultimately Anthony and how he's been speaking during the shareholder meeting, during the earnings, it speaks for itself. He clearly is under the impression that we should be at a higher price point as well. But over and above that, just want to give you a quick recap on short interest, because I haven't really touched on this over the last couple of videos. So despite the huge rebound in the intraday that happened today, they did increase 1.48 million shares. So in reality, a still substantial amount of money being shorted. Currently, there's $929.61 million worth of shorts out there. So again, this is where you get that squeeze component. As far as if a squeeze is going to occur, the short score is 71.03, so that has gone down significantly. Higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. Cost to borrow average is 2.48, so in general, that's gone down quite a lot as well, which quite a lot isn't a lot per se, because previously was roughly about mid threes, so 3.5%, so it's only gone down a little bit. And keep in mind, that's an annual rate, so every single day that's basically 0.11 or whatever it is, if you want to work that out. In general, it's very small. So in the grand scheme of things, it is what it is. Cost to borrow minimum is once again negative, very minimal, but still it is negative, showing brokers out there physically paying people to short SoFi. Fun at these stages, utilization has dropped from 100% to 82.48. So there is a little bit more room for shorts to enter in, but clearly they don't really find it advantageous, or else we would be at roughly about 20% once again. So 16.15 in general is not too bad. Typically in this sector, it should be around 2%. So in the coming years, do anticipate less and less dependence on shorts. So I won't necessarily be bringing it up as much as I will be in the future. But at the end of the day, you cannot ignore the huge amount of institutions purchasing, which again is why I decided to buy. With all that, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Give yourself a shout out in the comments below again if you've been taking advantage of these cheap prices and all that fun jazz. But with all that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that said, let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.